Okay, so some of you probably have heard of Talon before, which lets you control your computer with your voice. It does a lot more than just straight up dictation. And there's been a couple of videos over the years that have people that actually can code with their voice using this. And it's very deep. The learning curve is a little steeper than a lot of other things, but you can really do a lot with it. And so you can find it at talonvoice.com, and then there's a GitHub repository that has a lot of stuff with a very big community behind it. And there are some great tutorials already, but I thought I'd just put in my little 2 cents, because I'm not a Talon expert. I'm just learning it. And unfortunately, if you are trying to figure out how to code using only your voice, there's a lot of people that have, a repetitive strain injury and problems with their hands to where like they have to do it. And Talon is one of the best things I've seen that actually can help people that do this, not to mention people with many other types of disabilities. But one of the first things you run into, it is deep. You can kind of use it as just a not to code, but just to transcribe your voice. But increasingly, we have a lot of LLMs that can kind of do that. But with Talon, you can do all kinds of customizations, because you can open any kind of app that you want, because anything you can do in Python, you're basically controlling Python with your voice. But this video is not about that. This video is about just one small part of it, because one thing that you run into, the first thing, which is I'd say one of the most difficult things in the learning curve, is the first thing you run into is this. You run into the Talon alphabet. And if you've ever seen war movies where they're like Alpha, Tango, Foxtrot, or whatever, and in order to make sure you know that you're recognizing A, B, C, D, Talon has a different setup, because too many of those letters for what the military uses are 2 and 3 syllables, and it just takes too long. So, and then also when you're doing voice recognition, sometimes you want differences in what a person says, so that if you want to just put a letter in there, that it's going to get the letter right. And so for better or worse, you can customize this, because this is Python. You can make it anything you want, but people have come up with this alphabet and these words that basically are the reason that it is this way, is that they're dissimilar enough from each other that it's easier for the to transcribe it and to know what letter you're actually saying. And also, in as small a thing as possible. Most of these words you can see are just one syllable. But if you're used to dictating and saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it's not going to really work. You can transcribe, maybe I'll make another video later of just when you're in regular transcription mode, it'll recognize all the words that you're saying. But when you want to do code, or you want to put a special, an exact punctuation or something in here, then the first thing you run into is this Talon alphabet. And at first I kind of went, okay, I'm going to just skip that and just do dictation. But now I'm at the point where I want to learn this, because this is the biggest hump. If you can get over this, then it's not that there isn't still a lot to learn about Talon, but this is the thing that I found the most strange or whatever. And I actually I only have about an hour on you, but I kind of figured out a way to approach it that seems to be working good, and I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and go right in. So if you remember, if you're a native English speaker, most of us have had our kindergarten thing where we did the ABC song, and well, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Almost everybody that grew up in the United States sung that song at some point. And because I'm a musician, and a lot of coders are musicians. You don't have to be a coder to use Talon, but I see a lot of coders interested in it. And if you have problems with your hands and you still want to code, you don't have a lot of choices. So anyway, if it looks really strange to say air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and harp, sit, jury, crunch for H, I, J, K. But that is how it works, and that is one of the hardest things about Talon in the beginning is, okay, this is the wackiest alphabet it kind of seems like, but there's a reason why they came up with all of these words. And if you break it down just to the alphabet song, there's 3 ways, I think, to break it down to make it easier. And this is the first way. First, just break down the alphabet song. And then out of the alphabet song, there are 2 words in Talon that will seem very strange at first, because you've got H, I, J, K, H, harp, that makes sense. I, sit, doesn't seem to make sense. J for jury, okay. And then it's actually crunch, crunch for K. I just spell it with a K because that just seems, you could think of it like a cartoon, like crunch. So the most unintuitive ones are sit for the I, and then plex for the X. So if we just say a couple times, plex, sit, plex, sit, we'll just get that in our heads. And then there's one other one that is a little hard, but not as bad. And I'm trying to remember which one it is. Quench, red sun, trap, urge, vest, whale, plex, yank, zip. Well, there's one that's not totally intuitive, but those are the worst. If you can get through those 2, sit for I, sit, I, and then plex for X. Now, if we make this alphabet song, what I found that works the easiest, you can do it any way that makes sense to you, because you're going to just have to break it down into smaller things. From all of my music training, I get used to just that you learn a little chunk and repeat the little chunk a few times, and then just keep repeating it until it kind of becomes second nature, and then move on to another chunk. Repeat that till it becomes second nature, and then either you go on to take the next chunk, or you go back to the first chunk, and you see maybe you'll be a little better. You won't be perfect on it, and you just take it in chunks. So you can, depending on how you feel comfortable, you can just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust. Sounds kind of weird, right? air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust. And then you get fancy. You can go, okay, gust, fine, each, drum, cat, bat, air. You can try it backwards. But basically the idea is the first thing to just get your handle on the basic alphabet is to just take that alphabet song and air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust, and don't go beyond that until you feel really good about that. And then harp, sit, jury, crunch, look, made, near, odd, pit. So you just take each one of those, and just for brevity's sake here, we'll just go through. I think you got the idea, and you go through this first just to get the basic alphabet: air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust. You don't have to sing it; you could talk it. Harp, sit, jury, crunch. Although it if you can match the song kind of with what you're doing here, then you can connect something in your mind that might just make it a little easier. So this is the first part: is air, bat, cat, drum, each fine gust, harp, sit, jury, crunch, look, made, near, odd, pit, quench, red sun, trap, urge, vest, wail, plex, yank, zip. And so each one of these things you take in chunks, and you just do it over and over again. Quench, red sun, trap, urge, vest, quench, red sun, trap, urge, vest. And then after you start feeling a little better about it, you can go vest, urge, trap, sun, red, quench. Okay, so that gets you a little familiar with the basic alphabet, and you can learn it in chunks just like this. And then the other thing, maybe I'll try to put this in the YouTube description or something, so you can just copy this. There's plenty of places on the internet, but so you've got this, and then this is just the top 100 most highest frequency words. And I haven't even done all of this. I haven't even worked on this yet, but I just went, okay, well, the is the most common word in the English language. And if you did this, so you might not be able to, you go, okay, what's the word for N? Near? No. Yep. Oh, it is near. Okay, great. So you have at least an idea. And then if you want to, if you do this and you practice, after you've done that, you go, okay, trap, harp, each. Now you can spell the most common word in the English language pretty fast. And trap, harp, each, bat, each, air, near, drum, odd, fine, air, sit, near. That's the one that's the I and the X are the only ones that are the hardest. Kind of sit, near, trap, odd, and then have, harp, air, vest, each. So even if you only did the first 10, the 10 most common words in the English language, you would start getting the combinations that you're going to have a lot, and that you would be doing the most. So I'm starting with just these first 10 here, and I haven't even gotten here. Harp, each, yank, odd, urge, fine, odd, red. And remember, this is just when you have to spell letters. It's much easier when you're just taking full dictation. You have other commands for to go to the next line or to format stuff and different things you can say, but you can talk just normally and it'll transcribe all your words. But sometimes you might want to, there's just something weird that you need to spell out. And if you learn this alphabet, then you can do that. And it gets you more familiar with it. So I think that's it. And then the only other thing, I still haven't finished doing this with all the other words, but the other thing to keep in mind is there's a few versions of, if you were to take every letter in the English alphabet and figure out how often they all appear, this is the order that they are. So I took this, and so these letters are much more important to learn. If you're only going to learn a little bit, it's much more important to learn these letters than it is all of these. So I just have each the letters in order. So instead of learning it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we're learning them in the order that they actually occur in English language in terms of the most. So each, trap, air, odd, sit, near, sun, harp, red, drum, look. So that's another way to learn it, and you're learning them in order that you're actually going to probably use them more. So I hope this helps to sort of learn to take it apart a little bit. And if you've ever seen people coding with Dragon or with Talon, I'm sorry, not Dragon, Talon, you can get really fast with it. And this is just to get over that first hump. Because if you can get past like knowing the Talon alphabet, then there's a lot of other commands that are a lot more intuitive than the alphabet is. I'd say the alphabet is the least intuitive of Talon. Most everything else is pretty. It's pretty smooth and pretty. I don't know. I don't want to say intuitive because I don't know if Python is intuitive and this stuff, but it's. I think some of the other parts are way easier and more doable. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this for you and just put this in the YouTube description. And don't get discouraged. Just take it in little pieces and just repeat those pieces. And it takes a little time, but you'd be surprised if you just take this little chunk and do it backwards and forwards a few times, or do the whole song, and and then come back another day and just take this little chunk, and you might be surprised how fast that you actually get over this hump, which I think is one of the biggest humps to get over in learning Talon. And I'm not speaking as a Talon expert. I'm just learning it just like you. So, anyway, I hope this helps. And, don't give up, because it's definitely, it's just an amazing piece of software. And it's going to open up a lot for people that have temporary or permanent disabilities, whatever it is. I'm doing it so that I can do less mouse things and more with my voice. And I found already that there are things you can do with your voice that are actually faster and way more efficient than a mouse when you start learning it. So anyway, there you go. I hope this helps. See you soon.